All right, gonna be starting shortly. Go ahead and get this going on, guys. Let's get this week started. It's gonna be exciting. I'm ready for it. Let me just make sure everything's good over here. All right, good, awesome. Okay, so let's get it cracking. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it recording.
Recording in progress.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for checking out another one of my weekly Forex and crypto analysis, the weekly outlook. I do appreciate it. And before we go ahead and get started, for those who are tuning in via YouTube, if you guys can give me a favor and drop a like. And if you are not subscribed, drop a subscribe as well. You know, this is what helps us at Next Wave be able to grow. You guys have been doing a great job with liking the videos, and with that, we've been seeing a growth in numbers, and I appreciate it. So please continue to show us that support. You know, we appreciate it oh so much. So with that getting out the way, let's go ahead and get started. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and do my little fundamental analysis. Before I continue, let me turn this music down. There we go. And so, with the analysis, I always say, hey guys, you know, with the fundamental analysis, I'm not necessarily a fundamental analysis trader. I don't usually care about the numbers or what's going on with all of this, but it does have an important impact in the market. You know, it does have that impact where it's like, oh, this is what is going to give the market directional bias, and technical analysis is just on the technical aspects side of it all, right? I would say that I am a 85% technical analysis trader, 10% fundamental, and 5% sentimental, right? So most of my trading has to do with the charts rather than on here, but I like to get the impact. I like to understand, I like to see that there's going to be high impact at these times, so that I can be careful, especially with the currencies, that I got to be careful with those currencies, because I know that, hey, there is expected high impact here. If I am not a swing trader, I definitely want to be careful with the type of trades that I am taking. So Monday at 2:30 a.m. we do have Euro news, and with that is with the German PMI. We have Tuesday 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, the New Zealand dollar official cash rate, RBNZ policy statement and rate statement. So that's basically like, you know, how we have the FOMC and rate statements and all that stuff. That's basically what this is for the New Zealand dollar. So for those who trade NZDs, you definitely want to be careful on Tuesday. There's going to be a high impact, high movement with the NZD pairs. And 8 p.m. Central Standard Time is the press conference. So this is where you're going to want to pay close attention to, because that will be able to, that's more than likely whatever is going to be said here, that's going to more than likely lead to what direction the New Zealand dollar will be going. Wednesday at 3:30 a.m. we have GDP monetary policy report hearings. Thursday, US dollar GDP quarter to quarter. And then we have 7:30 a.m. on Friday as well, USD Corp PCE price index month to month. So yeah, we do have a good steady amount of news, but for me personally, except for the New Zealand dollar, there's not that much news that I'm going to be so much like, oh, I gotta be careful with, so that's good. I love to see that. Those are usually the weeks that I have the best type of place. So let's go ahead and look at the DXY. Gonna go ahead, first of all, I wanted to point out that last week I was saying, hey, we're either going to have one of these two moves happen, where we're going to have the DXY push to the downside, come over here to 95.440 before continuing going bullish, or we're going to have price to continue pushing the upside as well, right? I'm going to go ahead and delete that because and you guys will see right here and now why I am going to delete that. So, weekly time frame, we have here a doji candle printed last week, right? The week before that, it wasn't necessarily a bullish engulfing candle because it was definitely a bearish engulfing candle prior to this candle, right? So, I'm still having not even a somewhat, I'm still having a bearish bias on the DXY because of how this bearish engulfing candle came and took over the buys on the weekly time frame. However, I still do want to see price, continue coming up to 96.783. Currently on the daily time frame, price is currently above the 50 EMA, and it has been for the past, just for the past trading day, since like Friday. It's been above the 50 EMA. It came down below it for a short amount of time last week, but then it came above it, right back above it as well. And Peyton was saying that, hey, if the US dollar holds at this level, that we will be expecting for price to go bullish. And that's something that definitely ended up playing out. And as of right now, there's two things that I personally can still see potentially happening with the DXY where it can go bearish. Let me go on to the 1 hour time frame. It looks much, it doesn't even look as great, quite honestly, on the 1 hour time frame. But, from this high that price had made to this low down here at 95.684. So from the high of 96.433 to the low of, let me go ahead and change this up. There we go. So from the high of 96.433 to the low of 95.686, right now we're coming to an area where the DXY can potentially reject off of before pushing to the downside, and that's just based off of this corrective move, because I feel like this is more of a corrective move than anything. I feel like on the higher time frames, this could be a potential ABC pattern, ABC, pattern to come up to the 4 hour supply zone over here at 96.783. That's where I have my alerts at, and that's what I'm really paying attention to right now in the higher time frames for the dollar, right? But I do know that there could be some disturbance at this zone in between my 71% fib and 78.6 fib. I know that there could be some turbulence before price continues to go bullish. Heck, it could even go bearish from right here. But I don't personally like taking sells off of the 61.8. That's just me personally. So overall, I still do, that's one side of the puzzle for the DXY. Or I could also, flip the fib over and go from this previous bullish move that had broken this previous structure down on this low, and also this structure right here broke the structure over here, right? I could say that, hey, this could still potentially come lower and come on down to 95.539 or 95.442. This is where I had my alert at, and I still have it there. And I'm gonna put it up a little higher so that I can get like a warning before I could make a decision. But overall, price is still at a level where it can go bullish at. And so right now, I'm just waiting on the DXY, not making any moves on the DXY or the US dollar pairs necessarily, because I still do believe, hey, the price coming up to 96.783, it still is a very high likelihood. I'm going to go ahead and hide this. We know why the fib is up there for now. And let me go ahead and draw this higher time, or I'm not even going to draw it. Let me just grab it. Prior weekly analysis is this, it's been the same thing, right? Like from the high of 97.450 to where price had made that impulsive bearish move to the low of 95.149, the retracement back up to the supply zone again is what I'm mainly watching for, which really lines up with where these previous equal highs were. Is gonna be pretty risky in my personal opinion, because if it blows by this, then it's just going to continue going bullish. So that's why I have my alerts set there. I'm not really going to chase the market. I'm going to wait to see what it gives me before I make a decision on the DXY. But as of right now, a bullish DXY doesn't look so terrible. I'm going over to arbitrage, see what Arby has cooking up for me on the weekly time frame first. All right, so arbitrage. Still very much bullish on the weekly. Didn't expect anything less. It's gonna take like at least 2 to 3 months of us seeing a bearish DXY for me to switch my for the DXY on the arbitrage bands to switch over. So daily time frame, price has been consolidating on the daily time frame. I don't necessarily like the way how it's looking. Yes, price did call for a buy right here, and price is currently above the bands, but we'll see how that goes. Price is above not the bands. Price is above the RSI line, which I usually say, hey, if price is above the RSI line, that is an indication that price may be going bearish. So maybe going bullish, and if price is underneath the RSI line, like how it is right here, then I say, hey, that might be a potential sign that price is going to go bearish. So that's with the daily time frame. 4-hour time frame on the DXY, it did call for a sell, but I feel like in the next couple of hours, especially if the DXY continues going bullish right here, then it will call for a buy on the 4-hour time frame. And right now everything is confirmed for a buy. So that means for pairs like Euro USD, GBP USD, AUD USD, NZD USD, if the US dollar gains strength, then I would expect those pairs to go bearish. So we'll see what goes on with that. 1-hour time frame has been bullish, and I don't want to necessarily go up against it. So like I said, with the DXY, there's still a lot of moves that it can make. It can still either come down to 95.540 or go up to 96.783. Either way, that's what I'm really waiting for before I make a decision. I'm waiting for either of those targets before I make a decision on the DXY. So that's for there. Let's go on over to Euro USD. So Euro USD, it's literally the exact opposite, right? Literally the exact opposite. Weekly time frame, go take a look at it. You know how there was a bearish engulfing candle on DXY? Well, let me get rid of this fib real quick. Well, here we have a bullish engulfing candle. Literally the exact opposite of what the DXY was. The inverse of the DXY, right? So that's something that I'm paying attention to still with the Euro USD. These candlesticks that came after, we have a doji candlestick sort of on Euro USD, the weekly right here. So I'm not really going to pay too much attention to that. As more telling me more of this consolidation on the lower time frames, which, as you can see, there is. Not necessarily a good sign for me to try to be looking for buy opportunities, in my personal opinion. Hey, right now, on the lower time frames, I will show you guys where I'm seeing a possible buy, but I wouldn't play it. Especially since the DXY, I am saying that, hey, it could potentially still continue to go bullish. Same thing with Euro USD. I feel like this can still continue to the downside a little bit. I still have my alert right here at 1.12296 because I do know that, and let me just grab it because I've already had it pre-drawn from the other analysis, from the other past two analysis, I feel like. Well, yeah, this is where I'm saying, let me go into the lower time frame and I'll show you why I'm saying that, hey, right here can still be an area where price hit paint. I know you see that, but I had to. But yeah, right now is an area where price, from this low at 1.12700 to the high, I actually need to move this up a little bit more, to the high of 1.14940, price has retraced down to that 786 Fibonacci level. It has rejected off of it previously and went bullish. Now it's currently back at that price. There is a possibility that price can go bullish at this area right here, but I personally wouldn't take it because I'm still looking overall at the bigger picture where, I still think that from the low of 1.11234 to this high, the retracement back down to 1.12300, I still feel like it exists. Like, that's what I'm really watching out for. Let me change this up. 1.12300. But yeah, that's what I'm really watching for, because I'm again, even with going on to the daily time frame, seeing that price is currently, it's been playing around at this weekly time frame, and it's the weekly 50 EMA, and it's just been flatlining basically, which just means that price has been consolidating for a long time. But I still feel like, that getting into buy opportunities down here at 1.12300 would be a much better risk than trying to buy over here, placing a stop loss beneath 1.12770, and then getting that wicked out, and then price just coming down here before it goes bullish. Like, I'd rather just wait for price to come down here before making that move. That's just me personally, and I do know that the reality of price just going bullish right now, it does exist. Going on to the 1 hour time frame, I know this isn't a bullish move necessarily, but it did break some lower high structure, technically speaking. Not this one though. From this low of 1.12804, or if you just want to say 1.12800, to the high of 1.13950. Again, this is another area. I'm going to use this real quick. There's this area right here that price can literally reject off of to go bullish. And again, I am fully aware of that. I am more than aware of that. However, I just feel like on the higher time frames that prices is going to come down to 1.12300 after making this weekly move, and price rejecting off of this zone that price was already consolidating at previously, or not consolidating, but price had rejected off of previously, and then making that move to the downside. I just feel like at this point it's probably going to make something like not necessarily a very long or a very large head and shoulders, but if the shoe fits. Then you better rock it, right? You have the left shoulder right here, you have the head, and then you have the right shoulder to the right over here. Hold on, let me arrange this better so that you guys can actually see the triangles. Oh, I'm tripping. Hold on. Give me a second. There we go. So you guys see what I'm saying? This is the triangle that, if price, as long as price continues pushing to the downside, then it is going to be making an inverse. Let me change that because you guys can barely see it, or at least I can barely see it. I'm going to put a background on just for it to look a little better. The labeling, I need it to be black. There we go. So yeah, we have the left shoulder to the left, head right here, right shoulder. The confluence for me, especially look, and then we have a big volume on the daily time frame right here, retracement to the downside. That much confluence to me is much better than trying to buy at the current prices. So we'll see what goes on with your USD. I still have my alert set, and I'm still gonna be watching to see what this market does, but I'm looking for buy opportunities at 1.12300 still. All right, stop loss at break even from last week. Let's go ahead, remove drawings. Okay, so arbitrage, let's go ahead and take a look at the weekly time frame on Euro USD. Still very much extremely bearish, so definitely I'm going to take a couple of months before that changes at any type of rate. Daily time frame price is currently underneath the RSI line and compass line, and it's behind, it's lower than all these lines right here. The compass, the momentum line, the RSI line. The RSI line is personally for me the most important one, but I still do feel like, yeah, Euro USD, it looks like it's going to go bearish. Things are starting to line up as if it's going to keep going bearish. So 4-hour time frame, it's about to call for a sell, and price is already underneath the RSI line. I feel like this is going to just continue to push to the downside. For those who are still in GPUSD, that's a very good sign. And 1-hour time frame, I'm pretty sure it's very much bearish. Yeah, very much bearish. So with that being said, again, trying to buy Euro USD at this point in time, at this level, I have a whole bunch of confluence that's saying, this is looking like it's going to continue to the downside, and I'm just going to be patient on it. The best possible pricing for me to get into buys is down here anyways, so why not just be patient and wait on it? Okay, AUD USD, this thing is a hot mess. All right, so AUD USD, let's see what I had for last week. I was saying, hey, from these highs to these lows, I want price to push down, continue to the downside, yada yada, whatever. Nothing that I'm not gonna explain again. So, weekly time frame, it kind of looks like a doji based off of the wicks to the up to. Let me get a drink. Hold on. Drink water, y'all. All right, so from the bullish move right here that has happened on the weekly time frame, and when I go onto the lower time frames, it'll be much easier to see. I was saying that I wanted to see the retracement back down to 0.70500 before looking for a bullish AUD USD, which matches up with my bias with how I feel about the Euro USD, and the inverse of my bias of how I feel about the DXY. The Australian dollar has been pretty strong. I like this daily candle that we have here. This looks like a shooting star, in my opinion. I'm just gonna map out AUD USD on the daily time frame real quick. Price is currently under the 50 EMA, although it's just like how on Euro USD it looks like it's flatlining. This is how it looks like too, but that's still something that you want to note and pay attention to. Candlestick formations on the lower time frames, I can already tell that a bearish retracement move and push to the downside played out. I will take a look at that very shortly. I'm surprised I didn't see that last week, but I wasn't really paying attention. I've not been paying attention to AUD USD at all. So just to let you guys know, though, this move is kind of risky because overall, other than this structure being broken right here, other than this little structure being broken right here, which is fine for on the lower time frames in my personal opinion, but for the swings in the higher time frames, this structure right here has yet to be broken. This lower high, because this is the lower high until price has made a lower low, realistically on the daily time frame, on the 4-hour time frame, as you can see. On the weekly time frame, price is realistically still pretty bearish. From from February of 2021, price has just been falling, and we're back in February 2022, and we're down over here at these lows at this main zone. So, what I'm saying? Like, definitely is an area where we want to be very careful with. This buy opportunity is more riskier than, in my opinion, than with Euro USD. Euro USD, the only thing that it has against AUD USD that's better for me is that it at least has equal highs, that it's came above these equal highs at one point in time. AUD USD doesn't have that. It still has a lot more ways to go. And because in my eyes, when I flip this fib over, I just see that from this high to this low, price has been rejecting inside this zone right here, and it's been respecting that 78.6 pretty nicely, And again, from on the lower time frames, I can see that it looks like price has made the same type of move although it doesn't look that clean, that it still is rejecting right here a smaller time frame 78.6 Fibonacci level. So again, me personally, I feel like at this point it's just much safer rather than trying to buy at these levels right here to just try to buy down here at 0.70500, which of course naturally matches up with that 23.6 Fibonacci level, you know. So for those who've been watching me for a while, you guys know that I really don't like this is how it's the same thing I say every week, basically. Or not the same thing every week, but it's the same strategy every week. And even if we want to take it from this high of 0.73162 to this low of 0.69687, we still have right here where price is rejected off of that 78.6 nicely and has not came back up. And again, as I said before, let me go into the lower time frames. Let me map it out right here, but if I go into the lower time frames, I can see that where the shooting star is at on the higher time frames, that's where price from this high to this low, this is actually a pretty good impulsive move. Painting, we were just talking about this. Price had just retraced back up into that 78.6, and now that 71%, 78.6, and now it's starting making that move to the downside. So, I mean, realistically speaking, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we start to see even 0.70233 or 0.69847 in the next couple of weeks, right? That's just going based off of my technical analysis. Now, let's go and take a look at what RB talking about. But yeah, as I said right now, I'm still looking for these lows down here instead of looking for any buy opportunities. So 1 hour time frame, definitely bearish on 80 USD. I feel like it's just going to continue falling. Let me go on over to the weekly time frame. All right, weekly time frame still very much bearish. I mean, at the most that what 80 USD is going to have to do for me to start like really looking at it to go much more bullish is a breakout of 0.73200, to say the least, a retracement and then a continuation, to say the least, right? That's something that I'm just going to have to see on arbitrage for me to start switching a long-term bias on 80 USD to to buys, right? Daily time frame, price is currently above the RSI line, so that's something I'm very much keeping an eye out for. But it did call for a sell right here on January 26th, and it's been rejecting off of it. Let me not say it has been rejecting, but it did reject off of this upper danger zone right now, and we can see that price is consolidating. You know, consolidating zone is between here and here. Price has been going up and down basically from it. So as of right now, I'm not necessarily a fan of the bulls until I see at least 0.73200 get broken. That's when I'll be like, okay, now I can start feeling the bulls a little bit more. 4 hour time frame, still looking a little bit bullish, but the way how the candlesticks are appearing right now, things are starting to look like they're going to turn around. You know, blue candlesticks means that, there's more bearish price action than bullish. You know, yellows for the bulls, blues for the bears. So 1 hour time frame, again, we've talked about it, so we'll see what goes on with these USD pairs. But I'm not saying I'm more than certain, but I'm confident that these things are going to continue to push to the downside. Okay, let's go on over to UChef. I'm still hurt about this, but let's not talk about it. Alright. UChef has came back down to an area where I'm saying, hey, this is the last possible place where UChef is possibly going to go bullish at, right? I was saying and it's kind of an ugly move, you know, because we're literally inside the middle of a range. You know, I've been talking about this range for the past couple of weeks now. I mean, I feel like I've been talking for months now, actually. Like this price has been inside this zone since it started over here September 21st. Well, I mean, if you want to be real, over here, but September 27, 2021, price has just been going up, down, up, possibly more down. But we'll see what goes on with that. Weekly time frame, the candlestick of last week doesn't really tell me much. I do see, though, that price is rejecting off of that 50 EMA. And just like how the other USD pairs, they look like it's flatlining because price has just been consolidating. That same thing was with USHEF. Like right now, the markets look terrible. In my personal opinion, the markets look pretty bad. You know, trading in these markets, like you have to really know your stuff in order for you to trade in these markets and come out profitable still. But you just that's why backtesting and learning how to adapt is everything. But anyways, daily time frame, not really a fan of the wicks that I'm seeing over here to the upside, but price the way I'll push down, I'm not so certain if this is going to push to the downside. But the price being below the 50 EMA is something that is intriguing to me. But I mean, that's just off of this daily candle right now. I don't know how true of price opening at the high of 0.91998 is. That doesn't seem correct because look, I'm holding the candle, but price is currently at 0.9200, and it's saying that the high 0.92165. Yeah, it does show that actually. Never mind, I'm tripping. I was looking at the opening. Never mind. It's very interesting for me to see that candle and so much movement in just 4 hours on USHEF, or not even in just 4 hours, in 2 hours. But this is the fib that not that one either. Dang, I have a lot of stuff here that I need to go back and delete. Anyways. Right now, USHEF, reason why I have an alert down here is because I was saying that, hey, from this low at 0.91770 to the high of 0.92968, that's currently the 76 Fibonacci level where price has been rejecting off of pretty nicely at that zone. Let me go ahead and use this, push it to the downside over here. So this is an area where, if USHEF does hold, and it's just funny, just the way how the US dollar is right now, like this is an area where USHEF can go bullish. Like I have a lot of setups on swings that I could play this week, and I'm going to play a lot of them, to be quite honest with you. But, this can be something that's going to play out on USHEF where it goes a little bit more bullish, come to the 23.6 and then go bearish, but I don't know. I'm very interested to see what USHEF is gonna do, but I am more bullish on it than I am bearish, especially with the way how the DXY is. If the DXY is gonna be bullish and it has all this move left to come up, I definitely feel the same way. Oh wow, that's interesting. Sorry. But yeah, like I said, at these prices right now with USHEF, it looks good for a buy, honestly. And if I do get into a buy, my stop loss is going to be at 0.91720 basically, maybe even 0.91700. I'm going to probably risk 1% of my account size. If it's going to go bullish, it's a solid play right here, right now. No cap. But again, you got to be careful with that DXY. Let's go and take a look at what arbitrage is talking about. Ooh, hold on, give me a second. Nice. I like that you have that same bias, Spike. I like that you have that same bias. All right, so USHEF weekly time frame, rejecting off of that upper danger zone right there. It's still above that RSI line, so I mean, the bullish move that I feel like it can still play out counts for something still. In daily time frame, prices that wick to the upside is just weird to me, but price is still technically above the RSI line, or it's right there at that RSI line, so it's kind of at a tricky spot. Like I said, you want to be careful with USHEF. It's kind of in a messy area. It's just been consolidating. I feel like there's better plays out there, but if I were to have a bias on USHEF, it's definitely bullish bias. 4-hour time frame called for the sells just recently. It looks like it can still push to the downside some more. So I'm not again. It's just. But that 1 hour, this 1 hour is probably what will either keep me in the trade or take me out the trade. If I was really let me just show you guys an example of how I would play this. This is not a trade setup because I have other trade setups that I'm going to be calling. But if I were to play this trade out, this is how I would play it. So on the left would be my main position. Put my stop loss right below those lows. Or you know what? Just put them right there. Oh, it's a 30 pip move. I might need to play that. Anyways. So this would be where I'm taking my buy. This would be where I would take my buys at. This is a 1 to 5.27 risk to reward overall. But on the left, on the right over here, I would say, hey, once price, goes below 0.91860, that's when I'm gonna be, looking to skedaddle, which would be half of basically my position that I'm trading with, and I'm totally fine with that, So. Again, that's something that I'm more than likely going to be playing, but I'll probably keep it updated in the chats, but for next wave, not for next wave, but for DeFi domination, I am not going to be calling this. Again, I do have other trade setups that I'm going to be calling. Yeah, it's not ready for you yet. I feel that, Mike. And hey, what could really honestly happen? Where, it will just get me out the trade early. It could literally just scoop, come to the downside a little more, and then push back up. But like I said, it's like a 30-something pip move. Nothing too crazy. Oh, let me not say that's nothing too crazy, because the amount that my lot size is gonna look compared to other pairs on that is gonna be huge. But like I said, the bulls are still it's very much possible for it to happen, but it's just a little risky, on the risky side. I think that I'm not going to be talking about USD Mexican pesos today. Let me see what it looks like, because it's just been playing games and I'm not trying to. Not that many people trade this pair, so I'm not going to look at it today. I'll probably take a deeper look at it at a later time. All right, let's take a look at gold. And the reason why is because I have a lot more other pairs that I want to take a look at and get you guys into these trades before they skedaddle. So I think that I was talking about this gold trade with somebody. Three people actually on Friday, and I was like, hey, I like the fib projections that gold was showing off. It was cool and everything. But personally, I would need price to break this structure that's right here in order before I start looking for sales on gold. And as we can see, this is clearly the exact reason why that happened. So let me go ahead and delete all this stuff that's here. Hold on, boy. I am not liking that this lo-fi it has someone talking while I'm talking. It threw me off for a second. But yeah, definitely this zone on gold is something to be reckoned with, and I'm not going to be looking for any buy opportunities. Personally, I'm just hey, right now, let's just see what gold is gonna do. You know what I'm saying? That 1882, 1883 zone that I had obviously didn't get broken, so I'm gonna be patient with gold. It can still hold at this level. It could still possibly come up a little higher to 1926, take out those equal highs, and push to the downside. But as of right now, gold is way too bullish for me to try to trade. If we're going to the weekly time frame, that thing that last week it's very, very much bullish. This volume is a lie. Do not believe in it. Do not listen to that volume. But yeah, I definitely am much more in favor for gold to just hold and show me some more price action before I make a decision on it. You know, I'm not going to try to chase gold. I felt like I was already trying to chase gold last week, so I'm not going to do that this week either. Yeah, nothing more is left to be said about this, you know. Everything is bullish. I'm pretty sure if we're going on to arbitrage, 1 hour through daily is going to be bullish. That's bullish. This was the play that made me try to get into the sell on gold. 4 hour time frame, very much bullish. Daily time frame, very much bullish. So yeah, you know, it is what it is with that gold play. But I'm going to be watching it for sure longer term. All right, let's take a look at these indices. Scary stuff, guys. So with the S&P, I was saying that, hey, right now, this is from last week. I was saying, right now, I'm looking for price to come down into this fib zone before I start looking for any type of bullish moves. What do we have? Price is currently at these fibs, and I'm looking for bullish moves right now, like real life. I'm glad that, you know, I've been patient and waiting for this buys. I didn't try to hop into them any type of fast way, but I did have an entry over here, and I have another entry over here for the S&P for a bullish move. Now, with all that is going on economically, sorry for my dog. Someone is coming over to see my kid, but yeah. With everything that's going on economically, with COVID and stuff, all that shebang with the Ukraine, these U.S. indices pushing to the downside is not necessarily so much of it's like, no, it's not going to happen. It's a very much high possibility. Now, we have had a whole bunch of months. We've had, since COVID, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not even going to count, man. We just had this huge bullish run on the U.S. dollar since, like, when COVID was, when we were all locked up at the house, basically. This looks like a bubble to me. Like, no matter what, it just looks like a bubble that's going to eventually pop, and price is going to have to retrace to the downside, as it has done before in the past. You know, the recession, price rebounded off of that very nicely. COVID, price rebounded very much nicely over that. If price decides to break through this zone right here, then we're probably more than likely going to have something where price on the monthly time frame is going to be coming down towards that 50 EMA. Like, I really do feel that way. And so, reason why I'm trying to get into these buys is because I feel like, hey, if there is any chance that this market is going to go bullish, I feel like now is the chance. But on the weekly time frame, it looks terrible. It looks terrible to try to try to buy this, right? And unfortunately, when I get onto the cryptos, it's gonna be the exact same thing. The weekly time frame is gonna look terrible for any type of buy opportunities. But just like I usually say with these indices, they are usually built to buy. And as long as, like I said, as long as price holds at this zone, I do feel like that the U.S. indices are going to continue going bullish. But economically, things that are going on, I'm going to be real with y'all, it's not looking good. So if you are going to take these buys that I'm about to talk about with the cryptos and the indices, take them at your own risk. They are high risk trades. This right now, if I go into the 1 hour time frame, it does not look like it wants to turn around quite yet. So that's why I'm saying be careful when trying to get into these. But I know how much I am risking, and I know the risk that I am taking to take these trades. And, you know, I'm just risking my usual 1% on these. 1.5% is the highest I will go on these. You know, at this zone, you want to take that anywhere inside that zone is where I'm looking for buys. Weekly time frame. Again, this is why I am so. I've been saying this for. I'm just continuously saying this. This is very risky. The weekly time frame. The last time that the S&P had a sell signal on the S&P was back over here in March of 2020, and that was short-lived. And you know, same thing over here back in 2018. That's when the sell call, price pushed to the downside. Anytime that price is underneath this RSI line, this black line right here, it is I do get fearful of it. And you know, price has done my usual break of the RSI line, retest, and the continuation. Only reason why I didn't sell up here is because the signal didn't drop up here. The signal's dropping down here. I don't necessarily like that, but that's just how it is. So I'm still gonna, you know, realistically speaking, I'm gonna. Again, it's really hard for me to sell it at these lows until this structure gets broken, especially seeing how this weekly candle left such a large wick to the downside. But these tweezer tops, it makes me scared again as well. So gotta be careful with these indices. Right now, S&P very much bearish on the daily time frame. You know, currently against that second deviation, again, not looking very good for any type of buy opportunities. 4-hour time frame, very much bearish. Again, not looking good for any type of buy opportunities. I cannot stress this enough that these are risky plays. But with high risk comes high reward as well. Because if this goes bullish, I'm taking these right back to all-time highs. You know, so this move is definitely a swing play, but it's a high risk, high reward play. This is what I'm officially calling the US indice buy. So right now, I currently am in this position and in this position up here. I'm not in this position quite yet. The reason why is because this is for, and I'm calling this out for the DeFi Domination app. This is for swing plays, right? My entry for the Dow Jones are three different entries. The first entry, I'm gonna just go ahead and say that it's at 34,000 because that's where price is very close to. And that's at, if you want, you can go ahead and buy it at current price or market execution that. And then I have two other entries, and those entries are buy stops, right? So each one of these positions, I would recommend, this is how I'm playing it. I'm placing 0.75% of my position at this buy. I'm placing 0.5 here, and then I'm placing another 0.5 on these positions. So these two positions is 1%, and this is 0.75. So I'm risking a total of 1.75% on this. You know, risking 1%, sharing it amongst these three entries, that's not a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? So that you'll have, like, let's say if your whole idea is, oh, I want to put a standard lot size. I'm not telling you this is what you're supposed to do. I want you to go and figure out, according to your account size, what your lot size for this pair would be. But so let's say that you want to put, oh yeah, that's money. I already know. I want to say that this is, yep, thought so. Give me a second, guys. I need to. It's this strategy that Peyton and I have been working on. Been very successful. And I was saying that I need to move my stop loss to break even and take partial profits. Anyways, for these other pairs, the buy limits are going to be at 34,300. I mean, the buy stops are going to be at 34,353 and 34,549. I want you guys to consider all of those positions as one single position, right? That's what I want you guys to look at them as. Because I'm dividing up my one single position down here at 34,000. I'm dividing it up into three, so that it's one whole position, but it's three different entries. And that's basically even the same way how you dollar cost average. If for those who don't know, like you're saying, like, okay, I'm gonna put this much amount of money at this price. When price comes to this next price, I'm gonna put some more money here. And then when price goes to this price, I'm going to put some more money here. That's how I want you guys to treat this. And, price is already moving up from that 34,000 that I mentioned. Nice. And the same thing, you can do the same thing with the S&P. If you feel like the US 30, you can't play it. But this is the play that I'm looking for right here, right now. Hold on. I forgot I had one more account that I had to tailor to right now. Come on, hurry up. Anyways, as it pop up, I'll see it. So yeah, US 30, definitely love these plays. I am taking them to the upside. This move right here, right now, I definitely expect it to take a while. Like, I don't expect it to be like, oh, it's going to happen in the next couple of days or something like that. I can definitely see us moving our stop loss to break even in the next couple of days. That's for sure. But I for sure do not... give me a second, hold on. Yeah, I definitely don't think that this is going to happen within the span of this whole week. This is probably going to be a play that's going to last 2 to 3 weeks. So if you are getting into this, be prepared for that. And so now let's talk about the reason why I am getting into this trade. Hide. Okay, so going on to the weekly time frame, and I'll set up the TPs once I'm done talking about this. Going on to the weekly time frame, same thing. It looks pretty bad the way how these candles look to the downside, but US 30, the US indices, they're not new to this game where they make things look very terrifying. They make these things look like, oh, this is not, or oh, this is looking like it's going to continue going bearish, but then it continues going bullish, right? You can call it inflation, you can call it, oh, inside trading, whatever, but that's what these indices have done multiple times. Look, bearish engulfing candle, what happened right after? Price went bullish. Same thing happened right here. Bearish engulfing candle, what happened right after? Continue going bullish. So I definitely, after seeing this wick to the downside and price going up, the retracement, which has done this, that's the retracement that we're playing right now, from this low to this high. So the low of 33,154 to the high of 35,886. Those are the fibs that we're playing right now. I was so happy to see that when 5 o'clock hit, I was already in this trade because it was a limit order that I had set. And so once I saw that happen, I'm like, all right, cool. We can still see the possibility of price coming down to 33,738. And if it breaks this zone, that's when I would officially say for myself, okay, these US indices, they're gonna die. And if it just wicks us out and then goes bullish, I would be one unhappy camper. But that's the play that I'm really seeing on these US indices. 4-hour time frame, going even lower into this. Price made this big bullish move right here with this candle, retraced a little bit, then came up, broke this bearish structure. This was the lower high that I was really looking for on the 4-hour time frame for price to break. It broke it once, came down, broke it again, even went higher. I loved seeing that. I'm like, okay, yes, the retracement now I will be wanting to get into. Now, for the daily time frame, for me to be really saying, okay, yeah, we're in the clear for price to go and hit our extensions, I need price to break this previous structure right here. And that's going to be a tough one. Once price gets up there, I'd be like, okay, you guys might want to start taking a lot of profits or something like that. But still, I'm saying this is definitely going to be a long climb and a hard trip, but this is going to be a move worthwhile. So let me get those positions back up on the screen so that I can set these take profits. So this is going to be weird, but we're going to base these take profits on the best position. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this as 34,200 if I'm not mistaken. I'm giving y'all the sauce for reals. My entry is that, but I'm going to go ahead and say 34,000. There we go. So that's when I believe I started talking about. Wait, let me see. I really want to get this pretty good entry for y'all. 34,100, I believe, is what I got y'all at. So 34,100. Risk to reward is 1 to 3. That's pretty solid to me. All these other risk to rewards is 1 to 2 and 1 to 1.8. The amount of points being risked is 971 points. And so the first take profit is going to be at 971. I'm more than likely going to make the risk to reward, or as the trade progresses, depending on how it progresses, I'm more than likely going to say that, hey, I'm adjusting take profit to this so that we can protect so that we can do the number one rule of trading, which is protect our capital. But around right here is where our first take profit will be. At 35,000. That would be the 1-to-1. That would be the 1-to-1 of this bullish move that we have here. And then second take profit. Let me just go ahead and label all of these right now. TP2 is going to be up over here at 35,894. TP3 is going to be at the 38.2 extension. Actually, you know, this is just taking it back to the equal highs. But realistically speaking, this is what the take profit should be at. I'm just going to have this come all the way up here so that you guys can see it. But this would be where the final take profit would be if you're really trying to be like, oh, I want to hold it to the moon and really focus on my holding trades for a long time. Then you could practice holding it all the way up to 37,597. But my last target is going to be 37,155. So 37155. So there we go. There we have it. And with that being said, that is the trade for US 30. Price is basically at entry. This is a swing play for sure. This is not for small accounts. And again, please use risk management. I cannot stress that enough. I don't want you guys to go and put a lot of your risk on every single trade. You have to have a system in place. And so there is with US 30. Let's go on ahead and let me go take a look at arbitrage, because you guys are going to be terrified by how the weekly looks as well. Weekly time frame called it for a sell last week. You know, prices already did my break and retest realistically, so me trying to go up against this is very frightening. Again, take at your own risk, but I would still want to see a retracement of some sort before I look for a sell, quite honestly. And again, based off of the zone that US 30 is at, anything can happen. Like really anything can happen. I can't stress that enough. So daily time frame very much bearish. 4-hour time frame very much bearish. 1-hour time frame very much bearish. Like I'm telling you guys, literally, like you might as well just wait for something like this to happen before trying to get into this buy. Like I'm being so serious. Like wait for the breakout, retest, and continuation. If you are not a swing trader. Do not. I can't stress that enough. All right. So let's go on over with the Bitcoin. All right. So next wave traders, you guys had that opportunity to get into this trade for Bitcoin. It was a solid 1-to-4 risk to reward ratio if you didn't take any partial profits. So Bitcoin is I'm basically seeing almost the same thing on Bitcoin as I'm seeing with the US indices, which is very, very interesting, right? And as if you guys have watched my previous analysis, it's kind of the same thing. If price breaks below 32,500, I'm gonna be bearish on Bitcoin. I'm gonna be expecting the prices of 20,000, 19,000 in the future. And I'm saying if it breaks, as in, I'm not talking about if it leaves the wicks to the downside. I'm talking about if it really closes on the weekly or even on the monthly. Because realistically speaking, we only have 7 days until the month. We only have until next week, Sunday, to see how this monthly candle closes. And if I take off all of these drawings, the monthly looks terrible. I'm giving you guys all the disclaimers in the world for these trades so that you guys can know how much risk you're getting into trying to get into these. Very risky business. This monthly candle does not look like a bullish candle to me when it comes to Bitcoin. I'm just keeping it real. Weekly candle last week, same thing. This does not look like a very friendly it does not look like a very friendly bullish candle to me, or candle to me that's saying that, oh yeah, look for a sell for me. Price is currently rejecting off of that 50 EMA. Not the greatest look for me. Then when I go onto the daily time frame and really start putting some structure and stuff into place, where the previous place where price rejected off of, it was that 45K zone, and price never closed above 45,000. Again, those are things that I've been saying that I'm like, those are things that are interesting to me, to say the least, that we might be seeing a bearish Bitcoin. However, this zone, price literally just came in, hit the 61.8 from these absolute lows down here at 32,964 to these highs of 45,856. Well, not absolute lows, but on this time frame, these are, from what you guys can see right now, this is, yes, the absolute low. So the retracement, I'm saying, hey, I have 2 positions that I'm looking for on Bitcoin right now, right? I have a buy stop right here at 39,090, and then I also, just in case price is going to continue going lower, I have a buy limit at 36,659. Again, I'm risking 1.5% of my account on this trade. 0.5 up here, 1% down here. Then I have another entry right here. That one I'll talk about it at a different time. But overall, buy limit, I'm calling this for the app and everything as well. Buy limit right over here as 36,659, and then a buy stop right here as well. The buy stop, you might get in before the buy limit, but those are my orders for Bitcoin, because again, if price does hit stop loss, that's when I'm gonna be like, okay, we're in a bearish market for sure. I've already talked my piece about in the past, and I would want you guys to do your due diligence and go listen to what I've said about the cryptos if you have not already. But I can't say it enough. I feel like if price breaks below that 32,500, let me actually get that stop loss correct. 500 area, then we're gonna go back into a bearish crypto market. And personally speaking, I would be happy. And the only reason why I would be happy is because, and I'll let you guys know when that buy stop gets triggered. But the only reason why I would be happy is because that means that now is better opportunities to get better pricing into a lot of cryptos if you haven't already. And that is where, again, and I posted this on my Facebook post before. I mean, on my Facebook post, I said, hey, the bearish market, that's where millionaires are made. You know, that's where you're setting up to become that said millionaire that you want to be when you're buying at these lows of 19,000. You know, $10,000 is even a possibility for Bitcoin on the long run, but like I said, that's where the wealth is made, not up here at these 50,000 or 45,000 or even 30. I mean, yeah, up here down at these prices, they're compared to what they were last month. I mean, in December, yeah, absolutely. I would take these prices in a heartbeat to buy, but still, you know, I've always told myself I would never buy Bitcoin above 40,000. It has to be anything, and I mean like actually buying it in a wallet. It would always have to be below 40,000 in order for me to hold anything in a wallet personally. So, me seeing it down $2,000 less than that is not that enticing. So this is what I'm seeing on Bitcoin right here. Let me set these take profits as well. So same thing right here. Let's see how many points I'm risking. 4,191 points from these lows. 4,191, sorry. I'm not even gonna worry about trying to get the exact thing that looks about like a good zone, because I see somewhat of a small structure right there. So TP1 will be at 40,967. TP1. TP2 I'm gonna have up here at 42,814. TP3 at 45,000. I'm giving y'all the business today. Like, y'all ain't gonna see no notifications from me other than take profits getting hit or stop losses getting hit this week for sure. And then TP4 up here. And again, I'm gonna hide this actually because this is for me personally. So let's see what goes down. But there's a play, guys. You know, Bitcoin, the buy stop is at 39,090, which is coming up very shortly. Let me actually get the entry right there, 39,090. Y'all can get in right now if you want, but I'm gonna call the official buy stop. There you go. Never mind. There's the entry. So let's get it. Let's see what goes down. If price comes down some more, then I got the rest of my position in there. I'm not gonna call Ethereum, but Ethereum is literally the same play, and it's literally the same call. Like, I feel the same way about all the cryptos and the indices. The same. If these plays that I have, if they end up being losses, then they are going to fall big time. So I'm not going to talk too much about Ethereum because I do want to talk about the other trades that I'm in before I continue. Indices moving, huh? Yeah, they are. Let's go. Let's get it. All right. So Bitcoin. Let me go on to the week or Ethereum. Or I gotta look at Bitcoin on arbitrage because again, I gotta bring this fear to y'all. I'm sorry, but a weekly time frame called for a sell 2 weeks ago. If I would have gone into the sell right now, if I would have gone into the sell at the time, I would have been in profit, and that's cool because I did. But it's at a scary place, guys. It called for a sell. It's rejecting off of that mean line right there. Price can continue going to the downside. Is very likely. You know, daily time frame, it did call for a buy, and I was gonna call it for a buy over here at 40,000, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to wait because I think that price can still potentially go lower to the downside, like how it did. So I'm glad I waited on that. 4-hour time frame. You know, same thing. Very bearish right now. So realistically, the 1-hour time frame is the best play, where it's going to give you this more than likely, arbitrage traders, but I need this structure that's right here to get broken for me to be confident in the buys. Other than that, I think that price is just going to keep going lower to my entries, which again I won't be mad at because that's where the majority of my position will be. Well, not majority. I said I'm going half and half on this, I think. But yeah, that's the play on Bitcoin. Let's go and take a look at Ethereum. I'm not going to talk too much about Ripple because no one ever asks me about Ripple except for a long-term investment type of stuff. 1-hour time frame, Ethereum was looking solid for a potential buy opportunity. That weekly scary called a sell last week. First time Ethereum has called a sell on the bands in a very long time. So we got to be careful with that. But I want to see price retrace back to the upside, really. Like, out of S&P, Dow Jones, Bitcoin, Ethereum is one of the only few that is giving me hope that, yes, I still need to come and retest this upper danger zone. Now, it kind of did right here, but I can't just depend on one single candle like that after it just barely broke through to be my retest. So I still want price to come up to at least 3,363 before I say that, okay, yes, now Ethereum, you can go bye-bye. Basically, right? So I'm still bullish. I still want to see Ethereum go bullish for the lower term. You know, as I said, it can still come down over here to 2,494. I have a buy limit down there, but you know, I'm still bullish on Ethereum. Daily time frame, it did call for a buy, and price is currently underneath the RSI line, so that's a risky play, but I'm still here for the buys. Like I said what I said. 4 hours is kind of scary right now, but that 1 hour, like I said, it looks solid. So we'll see what goes on with the cryptos and the indices. And let's take a look at good old GBP/USD. I know some of y'all from last week are still in this, and hey, thank y'all for being patient. But anyways, let me go ahead and get rid of this. This was a limit order that I actually really forgot that I set, and I was like, oh wow, it's actually busting. It's not that big of an order, but still. Last week, I like the rejection candles that we're getting off of this zone on GBP/USD. I love seeing the rejections at the zone, right? I was saying that, hey, I wanted to get a long-term sells on GU at 1.36400. I was finally able to get that opportunity. So, like I said, I'm in that sell on GBP/USD, and I'm looking for it to continue going bearish. You know, like honestly speaking, from this high up at 1.37486, where price made this shooting star, it's made that retracement up over here to that 71% Fibonacci level. I like how price has still been holding there. I just wanted to continue going to the downside and at least make it to the equal lows before, if it ever decides to go bullish, you know? Just like how I want EUR/USD to go bearish and AUD/USD to go bearish, same thing applies with GU. You know, it's been a real pain, but you know, what can you expect with the GBP pairs, right? So, yeah, like I said, I definitely still do want the bears to come and kick in, but the bulls are making it hard for them. I am still holding my buy position that my sell position that I had called down over here. I had got another position up here, like I mentioned. not looking the greatest right now. I need this structure to get broken for me to feel more comfortable on GU, quite honestly. So we'll see how that looks like later on and during the week. Maybe even tomorrow, like during London session. But I definitely want something like this to happen. That would be good. That'd be a good play to honestly go down. So yeah, again, guys, these markets to me personally, they are not great looking at all. Like by any means necessarily, they don't look good. Okay, going on over to arbitrage. Look at the daily time frame from when I got this trade, where I got the trade set up at. You know, prices came close to stop loss, but it hasn't got up there yet. These take profits. I'm still holding them, and again, I'm not crazy over the fact that prices are currently above the. I'm not crazy over the fact that price is above the RSI line. That's never a good sign for me because it could just be 2 more days of price being up here. Then it will call for a buy, and then I'm like, oh well, that's my exit. Should I get out or should I stay in? I usually like holding my trades. I usually like holding my trades instead of getting out early because when I get out early, they usually do me wrong and go the way how I want it to go. So 4-hour time frame still very much bullish, but it's consolidating a lot. I wouldn't really play that time frame right now. And I like the 1 hour. It's called for the sell, you know, and I would be in love if Price did that because that's what I ultimately want Price to do at this point. Just go and retest off of that RSI line and then continue going bearish on GU. So there's GU. Like I said, this is from last week's trade. I had already called it. It's in the app. You know, those who are in Next Wave, y'all know that I'm in this trade. And so we'll see what goes on with GPUSD. Let me go over GJ and EG real quick, and then that'll be it. GJ, I had said, hey, I like this bearish move to the downside. I want the retracement and then a push to the downside. I did get the set retracement on that 71% Fibonacci level, which is good, but I said, hey, I need this structure to get broken before I start to consider selling GJ, because right now it is way too bullish. So that's basically it. I mean, I like that weekly doji candle. That's a very good sign for price to potentially be making a reversal. I love seeing that shooting star right there. Very great sign for GJ to continue going to the downside. But again, I need to see real life price break through this structure right here before I get into a sell on GJ. That's just my preference. I'm just keeping it like that's my preference because it's just been way too bullish. If I go on over here to the weekly time frame, you're going to see how bullish GJ has been. Very much bullish, holding at these levels, at these highs. Daily time frame, price is currently at that upper danger zone. If it holds there, I expect it to continue going bearish, but I'm not playing anything 4-hour time frame. I love seeing that it's underneath the RSI line. I want this to continue going bearish, and 1-hour time frame I'm pretty sure is bearish as well. Yeah, rejecting off of that upper danger zone right there. So that's GJ. Yeah, I think that GJ has a very good chance of falling as well, but it's way too bullish for me to try to get into anything right now. And then your GBP, you know, this is the last trade that I'm calling. You know, I had, you know what, I'm just going to give one main entry on this. And I feel like I've already talked about this in the group chat. So EG, I'm looking for this buy opportunity. It's a 54 pip stop loss. And the take profits are all set basically, except for one of them. 54 pips. Let me get that for y'all. All right, and there you guys go. Like I already talked about this trade in the group chat. And how I said I had one position up over there and another position here. This is your guys' position. 54 pips is at 0.83865, and that would be the 1-to-1 risk to reward. But overall, this play is a 1-to-4.8 risk to reward if you take it all the way to 0.85985 without taking any partial profits. Going on over here to the weekly on arbitrage, still very much bearish. Like, it's been bearish for so long, and it's been rejecting off of this RSI line. When I'd be really confident on the higher time frames that this goes bullish is once we see this, and we might be getting that. If the GBP pairs are going to be dropping, I'm going to be so happy, because that's going to make more than likely your GBP to go bullish. More than likely, but I'm not saying that it's 100%. Daily time frame price called for the buy up here. It's making a retracement. This is, you know, like I said, this is the only place where I would be looking for buy opportunities on EG. Not up here, but down here. So we'll see what goes on with that. 1 hour time frame is, 1 hour time frame is currently loading for a buy move. Arbitrage users, that might be your play to try to get into that EG buy. You know, wait for that breakout, retest, continuation. I'm more than certain that's something that Payton is going to be watching for. And the 4 hour is just looking atrocious. All right, guys. So that's my analysis. I know I talk a lot. But I want to give you all that sauce. That's my analysis. Let's see what these indices talking about right now. Oh wow, they moving. Indices moving, so we'll see what goes on. See what Bitcoin's talking about. You know, Bitcoin, we're in on one entry, but I still have another one down here. Ethereum, I'm not going to post up my entries, but you know what I mean, this is basically the same thing as what I talked about on Bitcoin. So with that being said, if there's no other anything that anybody wants to talk about, then I'm going to head out and go get some dinner, because I'm hungry. All right. Well, thanks, y'all. I appreciate it. Recording will be up, and let's make some money this week. Later, y'all.